What's up, everybody? We are
Hey.
back from vacation, back from the holidays. Yes, for the first time in I don't know, shit, like 2 years, I actually got to go on a vacation. So we are back, everybody. We'll get kicked into the show here shortly. Thank you, everyone, tuning in. We are live on YouTube today, as always. And today we're actually live on Twitter. No, I will not call it by the letter of the alphabet. We are live on Twitter as well. But it's been a while, my friends.
It
Scott,
has
how
been
you
a while.
doing?
Do you have a good Christmas?
I did. It was well, I mean, Christmas as a dad was great, Christmas once you're a parent, you know this, and you're a
Oh yeah.
dad. It's not about you. So as long as
No.
everyone else has fun, then it's good.
Did
Dude had
I
a
mean
great time. So
did
yeah, it
did
was
you at least get your bells jingled?
yeah, well, yeah. 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 Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you? How was your
It
holidays?
was good. Low key. Didn't travel anywhere. Didn't go anywhere. It was great. Had my it's snowing out in Chicago right now.
Yeah,
we're getting
just
hit with a
raining
good
here.
good 7 inches, and of course my furnace went out yesterday.
Of
So
course.
I know I was dealing with that all morning today. So yeah,
Beautiful. Well,
yeah.
guys, thank you. I see a bunch of you jumping in. Thank you for joining the show. Those of you that might be your first time here, we stream every time we do a show. Of course, you can find them on all the major podcast platforms, but we also stream every single episode live and uncut with some bonus footage sometimes. We answer your questions, all that type of stuff. So you can always join us on YouTube today, also on Twitter. It's called Twitter. And so, yeah, feel free to drop any comments. We'll hit them during the break or at the end of the show. So we're not ignoring you unless, well, we have
Unless we are.
Yeah, unless we are. But we will get to those during the break and at the end of the show. And make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell so you know when we're live and all that stuff that all those other people tell you to do and that you know to do by now. But Scott, I think it's time to dive into this week's show. What do you say, my man?
I say let's get it rolling.
All right. What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 210 of Let Me Get That Potograph. We are back. The holidays are over. 2024 is in effect, and we are kicking it off right with a big episode for you guys. So glad to be back. We'll be back all year long from now on. Vacations are over. But as always, my name is Drew, or the DH, and joining me, my awesome co-host, Mr. Scott Rappaport. What's up, dude?
What's going on, Drew?
Not too much, man. Getting back in the swing of things, just traveling like crazy and buying a lot of cards.
It's not traveling like crazy and selling a lot of cards.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yeah,
so I'm glad. Glad you figured that out.
I know exactly. So that was a good time. But yeah, a lot of stuff. So check this out, man. So our buddy was over at the house buying some stuff, and I get this email from Panini. Finally, 2 cards that I sent in damaged back in 2021, or maybe it was 2020. I don't know. Let me look at 2020.
They're on
finally got replaced. I know. Well, one of them came a couple days later. It's this nice orange laser Antonio Gibson.
Beautiful.
Which was the card that I sent in to have replaced damage, but it was cut on like an angle. So instead of being straight up and down, it was like that. And so the other one was another crappy
top to bottom, but not too bad.
No. This one's fine. Like if the one they sent me, if I had pulled this out of a pack, I would not have complained. I wouldn't have sent it in. Right. The other one was cut the same way, another crappy lineman rookie, and that one was sent separately. And we'll be back today or tomorrow.
There you go.
Yeah. So
well, at least you got the same card back, and they're, I mean, guys, people have to understand this when they send in for a replacement. I see so many people in groups like Geo's room, Sports Card Nonsense, for example. A lot of new people in the room, a lot of people not familiar with the process. And so they say, oh, I sent in for a replacement 2 months ago. And I want to explain to people why they're so backed up. So many people back in 2021 were sending in replacement cards. Every Zion, every Ja, all of those cards, anything that was pulled that was eligible to be done that they didn't think was perfect was sent back. So
Yep.
their backlog on this is like when PSA had the couple million card backlog. Like this is people were sending it to the point where they literally ran out of their extras for Zion and Ja.
Yep.
So I mean,
And a lot of cards that were sent in weren't even really eligible for replacement.
right.
That's the other thing. But there's
Yeah.
another piece to that puzzle as well. So that was part of it. But the other part of it is they just don't have enough people working in that department.
Of course not.
You know, same thing with the redemptions. They don't have enough people. That's why some of these backlogs. And then, you know, again, redemption is another issue because sometimes they're waiting on athletes to sign and get stuff back to them.
Right.
But there's like nobody there to fill the orders.
No, there's nobody there to process it once the athletes do sign it. That's why you see a signing and you see one person get it, and then it takes 3 months for the others. They just don't have the manpower to actually physically do that. But hey, at least you got some cards back. That's awesome.
I know. Hey, look, I'm not, I mean, I really didn't care about these. They're, $1 or $2 cards. It's not a big deal.
Right.
It's like, hey, finally they're moving. Maybe some of these redemptions I've been waiting on are going to start moving too.
There you go.
So yeah, that's my exciting piece of the week.
Very nice. Yeah, I had a good time at the Raleigh show. It was a very good show. I will say, first show of 2024, Inside Pitch Promotions, their first show. Shout out to Weston John and Katie, the new owners. They killed it. The Raleigh show was insane. They set records. There was over 700 kids and over 1,500 people that entered both days. It was massive. So that was a lot of fun. Great show. I like seeing that, at the beginning of 2024. This is when kids are going right back to school. Some people still have family in town, like it's not deep into the year, and yet a show can be that strong, and it was nasty out. So barring terrible weather, all that, amazing show. But
so what you're really saying is, you didn't make the 9-mile trek down to Durham to go to Q Shack and get some solid barbecue when you were down there.
Right. Yes, I did not.
Dude, you're missing out.
Dude, like I haven't had it. But anyway, guys, let's dive into it, Scott, because we got a couple of pretty interesting topics today, my friend. And one of them, let's start with an update. Couple, I guess, months ago now, we mentioned on the show that LeBron James had disappeared from Upper Deck's exclusive athlete list on their website. Yep. And obviously that's not a screw up on a website or anything like that. You don't mess that up. And he was taken away in multiple places. Well, then the rumors came out that LeBron and Bronny would be on the same card in Bowman U and all that, and LeBron was coming to Fanatics. Well, after that happened and after that news dropped, there was a lot of question of if he was actually going to sign or if this was a one-off deal. Not much information was found out about that, whether Michael Rubin had gotten him to do one little thing or if LeBron was a Fanatics athlete. Well, Topps put it out the other day. Fanatics put it out the other day. LeBron looking at a massive contract with probably a lot of zeros attached to it.
Yeah.
But he is officially a Fanatics athlete now.
And we had this confirmed, at least a month ago.
Yes.
That when we talked about it, when he was, going in with Bowman U and all that kind of stuff, we knew that was coming.
Questions on how involved he was going to be.
Right.
And Topps kind of showed you right there with their first post. This is a lot more than I'm going to sign a couple cards with my son. Like we're getting a lot of LeBron, and I know people like yourself that aren't fans could care less, but for the hobby, it's very interesting. For the basketball hobby, it's huge in terms of you're going to be getting LeBron cards. Topps Chrome stuff could come back. There's reprints and all these other cool things that they could really do with LeBron. You've got literally almost 20 years of stuff that you can go through and use that you couldn't use before.
I don't think that they can do reprints though until they have the NBA license.
Well, they can't, but they'll have that license soon.
Well, no, that is true. So eventually you could see some reprints.
That's what I'm saying.
What they could do in the meantime is buyback autos.
Yes.
They could do buyback autos.
Yep.
Which I wouldn't put it past them to do. Imagine having a Bowman U product, and all of a sudden you pull a You pull a buyback auto, Bowman Chrome, LeBron rookie on card auto. That would be kind of cool.
Well, I also believe, and please anyone correct me if I'm wrong, but I know for a fact they can do the high school stuff, the St. Vincent St. Mary's, and I believe they can do Team USA. I'm 99% sure they can do Team USA.
That I'm not entirely sure. I don't know who owns the licensing for that.
Yeah, I think they can because I've seen USA jerseys and other products before. I'm not sure Panini may have changed that with the latest, that stuff changes all the time. But you can do the St. Vincent, St. Mary stuff, which has always been highly collectible to begin with. But you get LeBron post-retirement because a lot of people didn't realize that when LeBron hangs it up until this move happened, once he was done, it's like Jordan. He's done. Like Panini would not be able to make, or Topps would not have been able to make any LeBron James cards, would not be able to have him pictured anywhere on any card, licensed or not, once he retired, if he remained at Upper Deck. So this really changes the outlook of all LeBron cards in the future. This is a very big move that I don't think a lot of people understand how big.
I would agree. Now, the only question that I have is, we know Upper Deck pulled LeBron off of the exclusives list for their athletes.
Yes.
My question now is, and we don't know the answer to this, is this deal with Fanatics an exclusive agreement, or is he going to be with both Upper Deck and Fanatics?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I'm sure he had some stuff he had to fulfill with Upper Deck. He also was Upper Deck memorabilia. All that type of stuff goes into play. So there's a lot more than just cards and things like that. So yeah, it will be interesting to see. And, it is one thing, yes, his son's coming into the league, and obviously that's something cool and something neat to do as, a dad. I would think that's awesome. I know Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. probably love doing it. The Ripkins, all of them, it's been seen before. It's been done before, just not on this scale. But Top showed you yesterday, and there's a lot of, they didn't say it, but if you read between the lines at what they're saying, you look at the contract and you look at how Topps promotes things on social media, they're telling you right now, this isn't just LeBron and Bronny.
No,
it's
so much more than that.
More than that. And because if it was just Bron and Bronny, Bronny would have been in that post. B, they would have been talking more about Bowman U and not about the future. They would be talking about the stuff that they're releasing right now. Because I'll tell you right now, the Bronny Jr. stuff, that's going to last a year of major hype. And then some of those cards are going to be worth a lot of money. The others are going to be cool hits. That's it. That's what's going to happen. It always does. So Topps told you yesterday, no, we've got a lot more in store for LeBron.
Now, I do think you're going to see, in addition to the Bowman U, stuff we're probably going to see with Bronny, I think once Fanatics gets the NBA license, assuming Bronny is in the NBA at that point, I think we are going to see dual autos in NBA uniforms of both LeBron and Bronny. It's just a matter of, what team are they going to, what picture are they going to use with LeBron? I could even see them doing some Photoshop images of, like a short print, auto of like, Bronny with, his dad and a picky, whatever, on the court with him, playing against him, or maybe even playing with him, depending on what team Bronny goes to. There's a lot of things that they can do with it once they get that license in a couple of years. So I don't think that we're going to see the end of the LeBron Bronny dual autos with Bowman.
No, I didn't mean the end. I just meant, after this first year, they're gonna
or shelf life on that is kind of where I was really going with it.
No, absolutely. And the other thing that this impacts, and we talked about it a little bit before, and then we'll move on because we've got a couple of really interesting topics today. But all these LeBron sales, all these massive sales of his huge cards. I mean, we just saw one surface at the very end of the year, Shine 150.
Of course.
Put out,
of course,
puts out the LeBron MJ dual logo man auto from Exquisite that was thought to be in boxes still. So, I mean, like those type of cards, all those cards and all those sales were all predicated on the fact that when he retired, he wasn't going to have anything because no one thought he was leaving Upper Deck. No one thought he was leaving Upper Deck during those sales. It wasn't even a consideration. Now,
up until a couple months ago, there was no speculation he was going to be leaving Upper Deck.
But now, what is this going to do to his rookie market? Because the rookie autos were limited. The total number of actual fully licensed autos were very limited.
I don't think it's going to do anything. I don't think it's going to do anything with it because anything that's done like as a buyback auto or a reprint auto or anything like that, it's still going to be well known that it was signed after the fact.
No, I meant what does it do to those original rookie cards and stuff? Like, I want to see. Okay,
I think they're still going to be valuable. I don't think it's going to hurt the value at all.
I think some cards that held a lot of money because of that fact will see a slight dip. I don't think the Chrome Blacks, the Refractors, the big cards, the big rookies, none of that stuff's going to take a hit. I do, however, see some of the lower end rookies and things like that take a little bit of a dip, and maybe some of the stuff that comes out after might end up surpassing it, but we'll see. One way or the other, LeBron with Topps. Sounds weird to say, but LeBron is officially with Topps. He signed his contract, and we'll keep you updated on everything that happened so far and anything that happens. I guess, Bowman U Best is coming out soon, so we're going to get that Bronny auto, that first one by Topps, pretty soon.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yep, get ready.
All right. Speaking of boxes, Prism football just came out.
Oh, yes, it did.
Talk about that for a few minutes here because there's some big cards that have already been pulled.
Yeah.
Which is not a shock. Usually there's, within a couple of days of release, there's usually some really big stuff. Your boy Puka, his Black Finite auto, saw the light of day very early on. And the guy who pulled it threw it up in one of the Facebook groups asking 30 grand or best offer, and it is sold.
Yep.
We don't know what it's sold for. I know, you and I were talking about it before the show.
I'm going to guess, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be around I'd say between 22 and 25.
Okay. I mean, it's reasonable.
His first pro uni auto. I mean,
and it's a Prism Black Finite, which we all know, carries an extraordinary amount of value compared to other one-of-ones, that hit the market at different times from different products. So, but it seems like there's a lot of stuff. I know the first off the line Black CJ Stroud got pulled.
Yes, it did.
But we still haven't seen the Black Finite from him yet. We know we're not going to see autos from him in there either.
No, and that's been interesting because, I think Puka, for example, I think that card sold for that much money. One of the reasons it did is, I mean, granted, he had an insane season for the records, but there's no quarterback autos outside of Anthony Richardson. There's him and Bijan Robinson to chase in autos. And so I think that had a little bit of help to do with it. Personally,
I don't know how much that is especially with Prism, because again, Prism has never really been about the autos.
No, it hasn't. But when you're dying for autos of these players, and they're in nothing, and then you get these big releases, Prism being the first big release that obviously they're not in. It does take a toll. Go take a look at Herbert, Mahomes, some of the last couple guys that have, Burrow, people like that. Go look at their Prism autos. They hold value. it's not all about the autos.
I'm not saying they
They
don't
sell.
hold value. It's just there's other products where it really is about the
Yeah,
autos.
Optic, Contenders Optic, all
Yeah,
that stuff. Yeah, that's where
Treasure,
you're gonna see the big.
NT and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Traditionally the Prism release has just been about the color, the numbered color. The silvers have held a ton of value.
Well, you're seeing with the lack of those autos, you're seeing those colors and those numbers of those quarterbacks that we're talking about. They're skyrocketing. Those cards are worth so much money, and that's what I love is non-autoed cards getting that love, and Prism always reminds you of that.
No, I agree. Now here's my question.
Okay,
and this is what I haven't seen a ton of it lately,
uh-huh.
but usually, cards like that 101 Puka come from breakers.
Yeah.
And there's always, anytime a big product drops like this, you get guys like Backyard and and stuff like that. They're always accused of opening loaded boxes.
Yes.
I haven't seen a ton of that with the breakers and Prism.
No,
for this year.
I have not seen much of that at all. Obviously, big breakers pulling big stuff is going to happen. I mean, it's just.
Well, they're just the quantity.
Yeah,
how the scale at which they're opening is different than what you and I open when we, grab a box off the shelf.
Right, and so like I'm saying, I've seen breakers pull some big stuff, but not to the extent that we saw last year. I have seen some interesting packs. It seems like there's a couple quote unquote god packs that have been opened so far that have 2 1-of-1s in them, 2 black finites in the pack.
Ooh.
Yeah, 2 black finites. Most of the time they're in the 2 that I saw. One was Purdy and Brett Favre together. Now that one's actually being accused of being resealed, even though I don't think it is. It was a Brett Favre insert and then a Purdy. The other one was another insert and then a rookie. I don't know who it was. But I've seen 2 packs so far. But you mentioned loaded boxes, and while it isn't necessarily on Prism, there is quite a bit of chatter, and I don't want to go through too much of it right now because I want to get all the facts before we discuss everything, because everyone knows we don't half-ass when we want to talk about stuff.
Right.
But there is a lot of chatter and a lot of stuff coming out right now about certain people in this industry possibly getting loaded boxes right now. And from some of the stuff I've seen, I tend to err on the side of believing it, and from what I've seen, I tend to believe it in a way as well, but I'd like all the information to come out. But in terms of Prism, no, I haven't seen any latent sports cards opening up 5 1-of-1s and they're all the top 5 guys. I haven't seen any of that this year. I also think
year's only 9 days old, man.
Yeah, I know. But still, that's okay. All right, so a third of the product's been opened.
Yeah, no, exactly. But no, look, here's the thing. We mentioned it before. We mentioned it. Look, there is a higher probability that the breakers are going to pull the bigger hits.
Of course.
Solely because they are opening such a large quantity of the product.
Right.
It's got nothing to do, well, in theory, before what you were talking about a minute ago, before all of that.
It's a little different on that end. And
exactly.
We'll talk about that in the coming weeks.
Right. Once we have more information on it, we'll talk about that. But, prior to that, let's assume that hasn't happened yet or anything like that. What we know is that breakers get accused of ripping loaded boxes and things like that. So far, there has been no evidence that they do. But again, it's a quantity based thing.
Yeah.
You rip that much, you are bound to hit.
I think that's where even the new people that, bought into the whole backyard thing and all this stuff. Because if you notice, remember how they had that thing where it was like, okay, the odds of them pulling these 4 cards were just so stupidly astronomical. Well, okay, guys, what's happened since then? You can't do that post again, right? So now let's add all these months where they didn't hit all of these massive cards. Let's put that into the data. And then let's, You know what I mean? Like, it's so one-sided to like bash a lot of breakers. That's what a lot of people were doing. They were trying to do that to put other breakers down, put breakers that they didn't like down. Backyard Breaks was bash when they came out, brash when they came out. They did all this stuff. They bashed other breakers. They did all this. Was not a fan, but they weren't doing anything wrong. They just opened a shitload of stuff.
Yeah.
And they got lucky. It literally, the guy said it was akin to hitting the lottery. Okay. They hit the lottery then. Someone in all the boxes that all the breakers open, one breaker eventually is going to hit the lottery and have a crazy run.
And speaking of crazy runs and hitting the lottery,
yes.
2023 Bowman draft has been out for what, a month now?
Yeah.
We still haven't seen that gold Tom Brady auto.
Exactly.
No, we've seen plenty of other gold Tom Brady autos, but not number 12.
It wasn't opened by your favorite influencer on their preview box. It wasn't opened up on your favorite influencer to hate, I should say, on their preview box. It wasn't opened up by that breaker that you can't stand, that you think it's loaded boxes. No. It's out there in the ethers, as well as the other
the orange 12 to 25 isn't out there either. Superfractor got hit quickly.
Yeah. But I think people have finally just caught on. I think people have finally just caught on. And if they haven't, please just listen to the last 5 minutes of the show. And maybe you will catch on that the stuff was bullshit. All that stuff was bullshit. Yeah. It was people wanting to complain and a lot of new people that just didn't understand things and didn't want to understand things because it was when Whatnot came out, when Luke came out, new breakers coming up. Everything was changing. Shocker. A lot of people don't like change.
No, that's true. And then you got everybody, and don't get me wrong, every platform has their scammers. You had a ton of them that happen to live on Whatnot. And now all of a sudden, because one guy is a scammer who's on there, now all of a sudden everybody's a scammer who's on there, which isn't the case. Yeah. People are blowing it all out of proportion. Look, one guy gets caught scamming, fine. Don't work with that guy. I get that.
And if it's a pro athlete, send him the Panthers way. We'll sign him.
Exactly. And it's just the way it is. Yeah. But yeah, no, there's a lot of shady shit going on. But speaking of shady shit, let's take a break really quick here. And when we come back, we are going to be talking about some really, really shady shit.
Yeah, big time.
This is fun.
Yeah.
So
a couple of weird ones coming up. So stay tuned.
Yeah, I got to go pay that HVAC guy. So we're going to add an extra couple of commercials in here, and we'll be back right after this.
There you go.
All right.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We are on our break. If you're a first-time listener, this is where we answer any questions that you do have. Christopher, we basically discussed during the show. But so you can leave questions during and at the end. Hope you guys are enjoying today's show. And of course, like, subscribe, hit that bell, all that jazz. But yeah, so not too much in the chatosphere today. So would you like to, you want to bring us back in and we'll knock out this
knock out the
interesting topic right here we got.
Yeah, sounds good. Are you ready?
By the way, Cherry Freeze Prime is freaking amazing. Just saying. I'm just saying. And the bottle changes colors by how warm it is. It's pretty cool.
I will say, it reminds me of those hypercolor shirts back in the 90s.
It does. The bottles.
I will say I'm not a fan of Prime, but I did discover Celsius.
Right, I got energy drink too.
Well, no, I discovered Celsius, which is the other Paul brother.
Mm-hmm.
That shit's good.
It's good.
I know.
It's very good.
I like that. And for the plug, hopefully he'll send me a case.
There you go.
The Kiwi Guava. Good shit.
It is.
All right, you ready?
I'm always ready, buddy.
All right. And we are back. Thanks for putting up with the advertisements. And before the break, we talked a little bit about, we teased it a little bit.
Yeah.
There's some shady shit going on lately in the hobby.
There's some shit. Yeah, I mean, there's always shady shit going on.
Well,
but it's public.
I know. This is public. So we got two things that popped up. One of them popped up a while ago, but just recently popped up again. And that was a great SGC recently graded a 2021 Bowman Draft James Wood Gold Refractor Auto.
Yes.
And James Wood wasn't in that product. James Wood was in the 2022 product. Now, what we know is that he was supposed to be in 2021 Bowman draft.
Yes.
They had him sign the cards, and then they made a change and said, nah, screw it, we're going to wait till 2022. So supposedly, all of those autos from 2021 got destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Except
supposedly.
That they didn't. Yeah. So I'm not faulting SGC for grading the card because it's a legit card. It's exactly what it is. But obviously, this is another backdoor situation.
Yeah, as a gold out of 50 popped up.
Yeah. And how, again, this is probably backdoored a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So, one, why is it popping up now? And,
yes.
Two, if one was backdoored, where's the rest?
Mm-hmm.
And who did it?
Yeah, well, no, there's a million questions. And look, okay, so in terms of like why put it out now? I think you put it out now because it was in 2021. We're a couple years removed from it. So not as many people are looking for it. Out of sight, out of mind. A lot of people also forgot about this. Well, a lot of people did forget about this, and a ton of people had no freaking clue of what we're talking about. They did not know that he had cards that were destroyed.
Now, as it pertains to this particular card, supposedly,
right,
the person who graded it, who sent it in, picked it up as part of a large collection that they bought, and it was in there.
Yes, except for
now that doesn't mean anything.
No, because the person that pulled it when posting it says that they pack pulled it from 2021.
Supposedly pack pulled it.
So there's conflicting stories on where this came from, and that's why what I was saying is to answer some of those questions that you have. I think that this person has quite a bit more. I would not be surprised to see another one pop up, and I'd say they're going to give it at least a month or two to let it die down. I would not be surprised to see these sold on show floors as opposed to auction houses, things like that, private sales, pieces of lots. But I think this person was able to backdoor. I mean, we saw what happened this year with the player reps that signed stuff. They took entire runs.
Yeah.
It looks
now
like.
in that situation, that was a little bit different because those guys were stupid and decided to put them up for sale.
Are different, but what I'm saying is
no. I mean, when I say different, I mean the guys that stole those were dumb enough to put them up for sale prior to the product even being released.
There's a million things that are completely different and capable of how dumb these people are. But I think that all I'm saying is that this shows you that entire runs can be taken. You know what I mean? Like this stuff can easily happen. And so I think he has more of these. James Wood is kind of, he's going to be one of the hot rookies here very soon. So this is the time you would want his stuff more. And so I think this person was smart enough of a thief to say, don't put him out immediately when everyone's chasing the first Bowman. Wait a couple years, put it out when he's almost to the big leagues, when that hype ramps up again after it dips like it always does. Starts off high, dips a little bit. They're about to get called up. Boom. It's not ironic to me that this is put out right now. And so I think he's got more. I would not be surprised if more ended up getting graded because, like you said, why would any grading company not grade it unless Topps has specifically told them not to, which I know they don't. And so I do expect to see more of these, but this is pretty crazy. And another issue of chain of command when it comes to these autograph cards. Look, you want us to pay so much for these boxes. You want these cards to be worth so much fucking money. You want everything in this industry to be so great. Let
me ask you this. So prior to these showing up, it's obviously been assumed that his first Bowman autos were in 2022.
Right.
And the value of those was set by the market as such.
Yeah.
Now that these have popped up and they are technically 2021s, which is the earlier card, what does that do to the value of the 2022s that were released in the packs?
Right. Now, to Bowman collectors, I think it's going to be the packs, because pack pulled stuff like that means
trumps everything.
Collectors,
yeah,
like that's everything to them. Buybacks don't matter, all that stuff doesn't matter. Pack pulled matters. So for the Bowman crew, the diehards, and there's billions of them, I could easily see them saying that this card's bullshit. And honestly, I don't think it's going to have an effect on the 2022s because I don't think we're going to see a lot of these 2021s come out. I think there might only end up being 2 or 3, maybe 4 of them, something like that. Maybe he is dumb enough to put out an entire run, and maybe he does have tons of colors, and maybe we do end up seeing a shitload of these cards. But I don't believe the pack pulled part one bit. I do not think this card was pulled out of the pack.
No, I don't think so either.
Because if one slipped through, then multiple would have slipped through, and we've never seen one. So, and no one's come out and said, hey, I have another. So I think this was his first attempt to get a gold, one of the most coveted that's not a super out there on the marketplace, and see if he can push it through and see if anyone would notice. Unfortunately for him, someone did. But I don't think it's going to have a major effect on his firsts, because I don't consider this his first Bowman. I'm looking at the picture now of the gold. I do not consider what SGC graded to be a legit card by them. Yes, it's got all the markings, and yes, on the back it probably even says this is a certified autograph, all that stuff by Topps, and it's got all the copyright and all that stuff. No, this is a backdoored card that should not exist.
Correct. That were supposedly all destroyed.
Yeah, now that's the big issue, and that's another thing that we've talked so many times. How many times this year, almost every big release, there's been some type of big fuck up when it comes to the printing, the pack out, the autos, something. And yet here we are again with stuff going back to 2021 now, and it's just more.
Again, this is a separate issue, because this isn't an issue with the pack out. This isn't an issue with this goes back
in a way it is, because they had to destroy them.
Well, they had to destroy them, but they were never in packs, so it's not like they were duplicated like the Superfractors from Bowman Chrome. Where this is more akin to the guys who stole the cards from the signings.
Yes,
that should have made it into packs, but didn't, because.
And that's my point. Like, there's major problems with the chain of command in these companies.
But it's not, and I'm glad you said companies, because it's not just Topps/Fanatics.
Nope.
No. That's what makes this segment so much fun to talk about. So, Spectra Basketball.
Great product. Man. I love it.
Mark Jackson.
Murky Mark. What is it with Mark Jackson cards and being infamous? Now we got another one.
I know.
No killers in this one.
Yeah, I was going to say, the Menendez brothers are not pictured in this one. However, what is pictured in this one is an autograph that doesn't belong to him.
Oh, my God.
Now, Spectra, sticker autos. And somebody who pulled it, posted the picture up and said, hey, this does not look like Mark Jackson's auto. I have no idea who signed it, but it's not Mark Jackson. And guess who replied to that post?
Mr. Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson himself. And it was a one-word reply. It just said, nope.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
So obviously we know that in the past year or two, there have been signatures on stickers by people that were not actually the person that was supposedly signed.
And on-card ones.
And on-card ones too. Yeah, we had the Arozarena Austin Meadows dual auto. We have the Woody and Buzz Lightyear Toy Story dual auto.
Probably signed by the same employee.
I guarantee you that Woody and Buzz did not sign that card. Still trying to figure that one out.
I know, right?
But now we have so now it's not like Mark Jackson's hard to get a hold of.
No. No.
It's actually Leaf had a problem last year with one of the players, but that seemed to be more of a, one of the players' representatives signed off on it and didn't tell the player, and then proceeded to forge the autographs on those. So, I'm sorry, it wasn't a player; it was an actor. It was the guy who played Jason from the original Friday the 13th. But this kind of stuff is popping up, and how this passed quality assurance is beyond me.
Well, and also what's really scary is that they're sticker autos. So someone's obviously forging Mark Jackson autos. And Mark Jackson coming out and saying nope as a one-word reply to if this was him or not, pretty much is him saying, I didn't sign this and I didn't have anybody sign it, because he wouldn't have answered had he said, hey, cuz, come here, I'll pay you to sign this. Because then who's going to get caught and who's going to get the blame? Who's going to get the bad stuff? Mark Jackson. So if he's going to come out and respond publicly immediately and just say, nope, that means he has nothing to worry about in his mind of him ever even investigating or thinking that he was the one that signed this, which
also probably means that the rest of the Mark Jackson autos that are in that product are not real either.
Well, I'd have to go through and look more, because I mean, it's plain as day to see which ones are his and which ones aren't. His signatures stayed the same for a long time, and it's very simple. And for some reason, these people tried to make it, I don't know, really crazy. But we've got someone now. We were just talking about someone, the chain of command on holding cards and how you can backdoor them and things like that. Now we've got to worry about the chain of command of fucking stickers of Mark Jackson. Like, someone is legitimately forging these autos and getting them onto stickers. And the vetting of these employees, now granted, a lot of these employees have worked for each other and everything else, but Mark Rubin wants to make this massive. He wants the hobby to 10x or whatever, 100x, whatever his stuff was.
Yeah.
To do that, you have to literally start from the ground floor, in my opinion, right now. And you have to change and you have to upgrade everything. When it comes to the chain of command, from the time that card is designed on a computer to the time it walks out the door. Because whether it's Topps, Panini, Leaf, any of them, they're all having massive, massive problems. And I have a feeling they know who these people are. I have a feeling these people get fired quietly. I have a feeling they think that, we've taken it up the ass for so long, then why not? We'll just deal with it again. But there comes a time where the hobby needs to say, all right, guys, like one or a couple mistakes a year or something like that. Yeah, we get. But like I just said earlier, with one company, every big release had a major issue. And then you come over to another company and they've had countless issues this year as well. This is not something that should be accepted in any way, shape, or form. And in most other hobbies and most other collectibles and most other industries would not be acceptable.
No, and what gets me is that as time goes on, the technology gets better and better that is supposedly going to be there to prevent things like this from happening.
Right.
But what we're seeing now is the exact opposite, in that things like this are happening more often than when we had crappy technology that didn't provide oversight, and things like that. So why?
Right. Why?
Why are we not using the things that we have at our disposal to make things better? And why are we seeing all of these massive mistakes come out, when we are at a point technologically as a society that we have the tools to prevent this shit from happening?
Yeah. No, and the Mark Jackson one, honestly, is just so funny to me, because no one in their right mind would have cared if, okay, let's say the card's at a 35, if they only got 34 stickers back, and so there was an asterisk and said Mark Jackson only has 34 of this parallel. No one would give a shit.
They do that all the time.
Yeah, instead we're forging things now. We're forging stickers. Like, and once again, like I said, normally I would say, okay, he had a buddy do it. No, 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 no. Not in the Mark Jackson instance. I don't think in any way, shape, or form, because like I said, you don't answer like that. Being a public figure that Mark Jackson is, you do not provide that answer, because if you have any reason to think that they would look into you and possibly figure something out. So
yeah, this isn't the same as like when Joe Montana used to have his wife sign all of his autographs.
Right.
This is different because he would never own up to that because, you know, he was complicit in it. But no, him coming out and saying, no, there's no way I did not sign that. There's zero.
Yep.
You know,
it shows you right there. They're now forging stickers.
Yeah. Well, the question is, who is forging the stickers?
Well, yeah,
you know, but that's another.
I was about to say we'd run out of time before I could get into that.
I know. So, but speaking of time,
I
think it's a good time to wrap things up for the week.
Probably, yeah. It's once again, guys, Mark Jackson. If you haven't seen it, check out the Mark Jackson card and check out those James Wood, and be on the lookout for any more of those. If you see them, let us know. We'll keep you guys updated. But a lot of really interesting stuff happening in the hobby to kick off 2024. 2023 was crazy, but 2024 is starting off pretty wild itself. And we will have a special beginning of the year show here very soon. We'll do a live episode, have some special guests and everything on here very soon. So be on the lookout for that. We'll let you guys know. It'll be here in a couple of weeks probably. But that is going to do it for episode 210 of Let Me Get That Potograph. Before we go, I'd like to thank our awesome sponsors. We could not do this show without you guys. Of course, Zion Cases, Show Your Slabs, Slab Strong, Denver Card Shows, Stand-Up Displays, Game Time Sports Cards, and Card Ladder. Thank you guys. Could not do it without you. And of course, over at Zion Cases, if you want that awesome discount, remember promo code the DH, THEDH, for 10% off everything in the entire store over at Zion. So make sure to grab some stuff. They got some great stuff up on there. But Scott, man, it's good to be back in the saddle, my friend.
Yep, absolutely. It's good to be back. It'll be good to be back next week as well. And keep an eye out, because in the coming weeks, we've got some things that we're working on that are going to blow you away or shock you, depending on what you wanted to hear. There's that one that you teased earlier in the show. We'll get some more information on that as it comes out and get you the whole story, and then you guys will know what we're talking about.
Yep.
But until then, peace.
Yeah, keep ripping those packs, pulling those hits. We'll talk to you then. Peace, guys. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Glad to be back. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Shorter show today as we're kicking everything in, getting back into gear. Had to start a little late due to a couple of different things, but we did take a couple weeks off and everything due to the holidays, but we are back in 2024, and you'll be hearing us every single week.
Yep.
We took a couple times off just to regroup, revamp. It's been 2 years, for me. And so now we're back. We're going to be doing a lot of big stuff. We're going to be doing a lot of video, a lot of new stuff. A lot of new stuff is going to be coming here this year in 2024. Got some cool lined up or getting lined up at the National. Some cool stuff lined up with some really special guests. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you guys for an awesome 2023. Also, you guys were wonderful in 2023. The viewership skyrocketed, and we cannot thank you guys enough. YouTube's starting to build up as well. So we really appreciate all of your support, all of your listening, and all of that. And again, I'm going to tell you to hit that bell, subscribe, and all that stuff that everyone else does. But if we got, let's check, no other questions. What's up, Eric? Thanks for tuning in. And yes, Christopher, just like I said, better job vetting employees. 100%. They need to, and it's something that I hope we start to see more of, because you can market it all you want, but if all you're doing is fucking up, what's the marketing worth? But we'll see what happens. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're gonna bounce out of here for this week, and we will see you guys next week on another episode of Let Me Get That Potograph. Peace, guys.
See you guys.
Now the awkward